Hello everyone, this is a special music video I have made in support of the Black Lives Matter movement, which as a school we will be doing some work about this week. From a music point of view, Black American history has a rich cultural heritage, and in fact a lot of the modern music we enjoy today has evolved out of the many different styles of jazz that were developed in America over 100 years ago, largely by the African American community. I'm going to look briefly in this video at the music of 6 famous Black American jazz musicians, and at the end of the video I'm going to ask you to go onto YouTube and have a listen to one piece of music by one of the musicians I've talked about, and then send me a quick comment on Class Dojo and let me know what you thought of it. The story of jazz goes all the way back to slavery in the American South, and one of the earliest forms of jazz was ragtime piano. This was made popular at the end of the 1800s by Scott Joplin, who lived from around 1867 to 1917. His father had been a slave, and his mother was a domestic worker who cleaned houses. Scott used to follow his mother around and learned to play the piano by practicing on old pianos in the houses his mother cleaned. Here is a clip of his famous piece called the Maple Leaf Rag, played by the musician Johnny May. Bessie Smith, who lived from 1894 to 1937, is considered one of the greatest blues singers ever, and in the 1920s was one of America's most popular performers. She was known as the Empress of the Blues and had a powerful deep voice with a rich vibrato, which is where the sound of the voice wobbles and creates a strong emotional singing style. Here is a short clip of Bessie Smith singing a song called Ain't Got Nobody. After Joplin and Smith, we move into the 1930s, and one of the most famous blues singers and performers of this era is my personal favourite, Louis Armstrong. His song, We've Got All the Time in the World, is one of my favourite songs ever. But he was also phenomenal on the trumpet and a great jazz musician. He was nicknamed the Father of Jazz and lived from 1901 to 1971. We see him in a clip here singing a piece called Hello Dolly. Listen to how delicately the band accompany him, particularly the trombonist. Look at how much he smiles when he sings. It's a real pleasure to watch. Louis Armstrong is also well known for his songs What a Wonderful World and Oh When the Saints.
The room swaying and the band is playing one of our favorite tunes from way back when. So
alongside Louis Armstrong, another famous jazz singer who lived through much of the 20th century is Ella Fitzgerald, who lived from 1917 to 1996. If Bessie Smith was the Empress of Blues, Ella Fitzgerald, or Lady Ella as she became known, is considered one of the greatest jazz singers ever, and like Bessie before her, had a beautiful, deep and powerful voice. You can hear her in this clip singing one of her most famous songs, Dream a Little Dream of Me.
Say nighty-night and kiss me, just hold me tight and tell me you'll miss me.
Following ragtime and then the blues and early jazz eras, we move next into the era of big band swing music of the late 1930s and into the 1940s and 50s. One of the most famous big band leaders was Duke Ellington, who lived from 1899 to 1974. Edward Kennedy Ellington had a music career that started with piano lessons at the age of 7 and lasted 60 years. He was nicknamed the Duke because he was always such a gentleman. Here he is with his band playing his signature tune, Take the A-Train. A signature tune is a special piece of music a band plays at every concert, like a musical signature, hence the term. Enjoy the clip. Finally, I want to be very clear that although jazz music has this rich, wonderful heritage that goes back over 100 years in American culture, it is still very much alive today, and musicians all over the world continue to create wonderful jazz concerts. Here is a clip of my favourite modern jazz musician, a man called Wycliffe Gordon. In this clip, he plays a soprano trombone, an unusual instrument, and does an incredible bit of improvisation, which is where the musician makes up the solo on the spot. hope everyone has enjoyed these clips today. Please select one of the musicians from this video now and go and listen to one of their pieces of music on YouTube. Then drop me a comment on Class Dojo and let me know what you thought. Take care everyone.